The Volkswagen Up, a weird name for a car, right? In VW's lineup, this small city car is positioned below the VW Polo and it was primarily intended to be a town or city car. In the Kenyan market, it competes against the likes of the Suzuki Alto, Daihatsu Mira, Nissan March, and Toyota Passo. All those competitors are from Japan and are pretty good city cars, except maybe for the Nissan March. Now, is it worth considering this German city car instead of the well-established Japanese counterparts? We'll be finding out that in today's episode, so please stick around. And as always, if you find this content helpful, please do consider subscribing to the channel for more informative content on cars and bikes. Welcome to IK Photo Reviews. So there has been only one generation of the VW app, which was between 2011 till 2023, after which it was discontinued to pave way for the EV transition. This small car is available in two configurations, either with 3 doors or 5 doors. And as for the engine options, there are two, both of which are 1000cc 3 cylinders, with one being naturally aspirated while the other being turbocharged. That is the TSI, which means turbocharged stratified injection. Now, the naturally aspirated option has two power outputs. For the base models with less features, that engine produces 59 horsepower, while the higher trim levels with the same naturally aspirated engine produces about 75 horsepower. Then as for the turbocharged engine, it produces around 90 horsepower, which is pretty good considering the small size of this car. This car is available in only front-wheel drive, and in terms of the transmissions, there are three options, either a 5 or 6-speed manual or a 5-speed ASG automated manual, which is essentially an automated version of the 5-speed manual gearbox that uses electronic controls and electromechanical actuators instead of a driver operating a clutch pedal and gear stick. Its key advantages are that it's a less expensive alternative to the more complex dual clutch transmission, and it's also more compact in terms of the design. That said, this gearbox can be a bit clunky when it comes to gear changes, and in terms of the long-term reliability and durability, it's really not the best. Conventional automatics and standard manuals are better. Now, if you want very good reliability in this car, then I would recommend the 1000cc naturally aspirated option paired to the 5-speed manual. You'll mostly get the 6-speed manual in the turbo option. The reason I'm giving this recommendation is because this is meant to be an affordable city car with very minimal issues. And if you decide to go down the path of the turbo option paired to the automated manual, then you'll be increasing the risk of something going wrong from the turbo issues as well as the ASG gearbox. And being a VW, definitely the repair costs will be high despite this being a small car. This is a car that will mostly be used as a city taxi car, so it doesn't really need to have a turbo or even the ASG transmission. This will only complicate issues in the long run. So if you value reliability, your best bet is the naturally aspirated option paired to the 5-speed manual. That combination is very affordable to maintain and is also very reliable. As for consumption, both engines can return very impressive figures of between 20 to around 25 kilometers per liter, depending on how you drive. The fuel tank is 35 liters. Then as for the ground clearance, it measures around 144 millimeters, a bit low, but then again, this is meant to be a city car and it also has a very short wheelbase. So chances of scratching the underside are low, unless if you will be frequenting very rough and uneven road surfaces. Generally, cars with low ground clearance and a long wheelbase are more often prone to scratching the underside. As for the suspension setup, it gets McPherson struts at the front and a torsion beam at the back. This is the best handling small city car in its segment. It beats all the other Japanese counterparts hands down. It doesn't feel floaty at all. It feels sure-footed and hugs the road quite well, and of course that is to be expected considering it's a small German city machine. Stopping power is made possible by ventilated discs at the front and solid discs at the back. Quite rare, as most of these city cars normally get drums at the back. The car weight measures between 929 to 997 kgs, so it's a very light car. So what about safety? As standard, this car gets dual front airbags, side airbags, ABS, ESC, and autonomous emergency braking support. It's really not bad considering some of the counterparts don't offer even a single active safety feature. In terms of the price, 2018 models will set you back anywhere between 900,000 to a maximum of around 1.5 million, which is quite steep for such a small car. Though I should mention that it's mostly the turbocharged GTI option that is the most expensive, topping out at around 1.5 million. So does this car offer good value for money? We'll be finding out shortly, but before that, let's quickly delve into the exterior and interior design of this small German city car. So how would you rate its exterior design? Do let me know in the comment section. I would say it looks simple but a bit elegant, which is very typical of German cars. It's simple but in a good way. In fact, I think it looks better compared to the Suzuki Alto and the Daihatsu Mira. Though I think the Passo looks a bit better, especially the Moda G package. The simplicity of its exterior is again mirrored on into the interior. It's basic but feels very solid and well put together. It has some good ergonomics, the seats are well bolstered and there's good space at the front, but at the back it feels a bit limited, especially compared to its competitors such as the Toyota Passo. In fact, taller passengers may struggle a bit. That said, there are variants that have a glass roof which somewhat creates an airy feel in the interior. Though I should also mention that the rear windows only pop out slightly. They cannot slide up and down, which shows a bit of cost-cutting strategy. Lastly, the boot is quite small, which is a common thing with these small city cars. Normally, you find that the designers tend to give more space at the second row and compromise on the boot space. But with this VW, both the second row and boot are quite limited. Now, quickly on to the pros and cons, beginning with the pros. It's a very efficient car, has the best driving dynamics in its class. It has good build quality and is decently reliable, especially the 1000cc naturally aspirated coupled to the 5-speed manual. On to its cons, the first one is that it has a clunky ASG automated manual. The shifts are not that smooth and its long-term reliability may be a hit or a miss, and that may also depend on how careful you are with its maintenance. Secondly, it has limited interior space compared to some of its competitors. Thirdly, as the mileage increases, there may be chances of oil leaks. Then also there may be issues to do with the timing belt tensioners. And before you forget, the naturally aspirated option has a timing chain and not a belt. That timing chain should be replaced after around 120,000 kilometers, or to be on the safe side, around 100,000 kilometers. The last con is that it has rear pop-out windows, so they can't be rolled up and down. It's not such a big deal, but worth pointing out. So there you have it. Does this car offer better value for money compared to its Japanese counterparts? Now, this is one of those cars that I would say buy it if you like it. Otherwise, there are better offerings in the market. Why do I say this? Don't get me wrong, it has its strong points, yes, but looking at it in totality, you'll realize it doesn't offer very good value. For one, its interior space is a bit compromised compared to the competitors. Secondly, again compared to its competitors, the price of the spare parts are slightly higher. Another issue is that its most reliable gearbox option is a manual, and let's face it, not many people like manuals, and if you go down the path of the automated manual, it may not be very good in the long run. In fact, if there would have been an option of a conventional automatic, then I reckon this car would have really given the competitors a headache. So generally, considering all these factors, you realize that you are better off with something like a Toyota Passo or maybe even a Suzuki Alto. Look at even the price. A GTI variant is going for as much as 1.5 million. With that amount of money, you can get something better like a Mazda Demio or Honda Fit, which are one class above this VW app. So to wrap up, it's a good car, but there are even better options out there. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks a lot for watching. As always, if you have any inquiries, feel free to reach me via WhatsApp or email. That's it for today's episode. Stay safe, ride and drive safe, and see you in the next one.